All right, everyone. This is Dr.SHIVA. Hope everyone's having a good evening or whatever it is in the United States. I'm still in Italy. It's about 1 a.m. here, but I thought I'd do a very important live today to really give perspective to people on the fact that I hate to say this, but I told you so about Elon Musk. Elon Musk is an absolute scumbag. And for the last 6 months, I've been calling out Elon Musk and having to do the dirty job in spite of the mindless, quote unquote, conservatives who went out of their way to attack me when I called out Elon Musk. In fact, the level of attack and abuse that I suffered from these so-called conservatives was the same level of attack I suffered when I called out Fauci, as you may remember. Fauci was someone who I called out for the disaster that he was doing in 2020, and the liberal elites. Yeah, what is it? Okay, please come get it. Yeah. And Fauci was, and when I exposed Fauci, I had to endure a lot of bullshit from the liberal conservatives. And it's time that people understand that my intention in calling these people out, be it Elon Musk or Fucker Carlson or Booby Kennedy or all these opportunists, or including Donald Trump, is because I care for people. And because of the training I've had in system science, which everyone can go to truthfreedomhealth.com and learn, I can actually predict the future. And it's not magical, because when you understand the science of systems, you can see where the trajectory is headed. And Elon Musk is an absolute scumbag, which I've been saying since December, because he has no intention, had no intention of removing the government's backdoor censorship portal into Twitter, which I was the first one to discover during my lawsuit in 2020, in October of 2020. And that lawsuit wasn't supported by any of these grifters. None of them covered it, but we still got the story out to hundreds of millions of people, which we'll talk about. And it was grueling because I had to run my do my full-time work as a company. I was running for US Senate, and I had to represent myself in court. I didn't see any of these grifters helping us. I didn't see Elon Musk there, but it was my lawsuit, my hard work, which exposed that the government of the United States and the governments of the world had created backdoor portals into Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. And we exposed that in October of 2020. And after exposing that, we proceeded to do our own videos, educational videos, and I'll share with you all the documentation that we did to expose this to everyone. And we were hopeful that someone like Fucker Carlson, that's his name, Fucker, hashtag Fucker Carlson, would share this, but he didn't, because Tucker Carlson, like Elon Musk, like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., are all they're all government frontmen. They're part of the deep state. They're all deep state pricks. And I've had to do this very awful job of exposing these scumbags. And I've had to endure massive amount of vitriol from these so-called conservatives who claim that they want freedom of speech, and we're looking to this scumbag messiah called Elon Musk. And I've been vindicated today because, as I predicted, Elon Musk went and brought in a woman who's part, not only part, but at the executive chair level of the World Economic Forum, and is for pro-vaccine mandates and was for pro-masks. And if you look at her history, she's embedded into the Hollywood and global entertainment elites. She's also the group chair of YMU, and you can look it up. So all of this I predicted. And we're going to bring our team on right now, and I'm going to walk you through, just for the record, because I have to say I told you so, because I have to take credit for the work I did. But more importantly, it's time that people recognize my ability to predict has been, frankly, 100%. Be it in calling out Fauci, be it in calling out Trump, be it in calling out Elon Musk, be it in calling out the pandemic, when it mattered, not when it was fashionable to do. And for all of you listening, just remember that if you are finally getting the fact that I know how to apply the science of systems to see this, you better get off your butt and also recognize that fucker Carlson is also part of this, and also Booby F. Kennedy Jr. All right, so let's bring on our other team. We're here. John, can you bring them in?
Certainly.
All right. Are we being shadow banned, John, or how many viewers do we have?
Currently running at several hundred across all platforms.
Okay, good. So what I want to do, John, is if you can bring up, first of all, I want to review a couple of things for everyone. John, go to winbackfreedom.com. First tab on there, John.
Yep.
So for the record, it's very, very important to share the facts, because the grifters right now, which Chris will share with you, are all backpedaling. But we're not going to let them get away with it, because all of the grifters who supported Elon Musk are all scumbags also, be it Dan Bongino, be it Jack Posobiec, be it, I mean, Chris will go through the list. But if you go to winbackfreedom.com, you will see the website where I started documenting from 2020, our historic lawsuit. And what you will see here is all the details of that lawsuit. And this site details the lawsuit. John, stop right there. But one of the important things that I uncovered about our lawsuit, starting in October of 2020, was the entire censorship infrastructure that was put together out of CISA. And I put together all the people, all the organizations. All of this was plagiarized by Matt Taibbi, The Intercept, and the Twitter Files guys. They never gave me credit for my hard work. I put this together. It was part of my lawsuit. We exposed the entire government big tech censorship infrastructure. What you will find here is that CISA on the upper right, John, if you can just point to that, that right there was created by Trump. Yes, Trump. Now, that's a cybersecurity infrastructure security agency. That should not be confused with the Cybersecurity Information Security Act that was put in place by Obama. CISA was the organization put in place by Trump. And all of those people there were involved in deplatforming me when I exposed this infrastructure. It involves government people, non-government people, but on the far left side, you'll see Lakeland Murdoch, you'll see the Zuckerbergs, you'll see Pierre Omidyar, who funded all of the infrastructure so government up on top could launder censorship to companies like Twitter. It's very detailed, it's a PhD project. All of this was done in October, starting in October of 2020, all right? That's the first thing I want to share with you. The next thing I want to share with you, John, you can come back to video, soul layout of me. So just do the soul, is that lawsuit was a lawsuit that I had to file by myself, and I took on 7 lawyers. It was Iodure versus Twitter. I took on the lawyers at Twitter. I took on the lawyers in the government of Massachusetts. And without any help, one guy who has no legal experience took on 7 many Harvard-trained lawyers. And we won, and we exposed that government has a backdoor portal into Twitter. Where was fucker Carlson? Where was Elon Musk? This is in 2020. And none of these people exposed any of this. In fact, they concealed our lawsuit. All right? And for exposing that infrastructure, I was deplatformed fully on February 1st of 2021. So, and I was running for US Senate at the time. So think about this, a United States Senate candidate for exposing the government censorship infrastructure, which I should probably be given the Nobel Prize or many awards, was thrown off. My work was intentionally concealed by the mainstream media. However, as we're going to share with you, we got this work out to many, many people. John, can you go back to the tab, please? The second tab, John. Can you go back? Okay. Now let me share this with you. So my question when Elon Musk took over Twitter was, will he do anything to dismantle the government and big tech censorship infrastructure that we discovered? So again, this is that infrastructure that we discovered, unequivocally showing that government has a backdoor portal into Twitter. So let's go down. And all the evidence has been there for over 2 years. And you can go find all of this at winbackfreedom.com. Long before the bullshit Twitter files, which plagiarized my work and never bothered sharing this. Now, on October 30th, some of you may know, on October 28th, right there, stop right there, Elon Musk announced that he was buying Twitter. Now, I was still deplatformed. On October 30th, I alerted Elon Musk to the existence of the government and big tech censorship infrastructure, what was called the Twitter Partner Support Portal, involving Pierre Omidyar. And here it is. I had to do this on Facebook. And I said, why has Elon Musk not put Dr. Shiva back on Twitter? Dr. Shiva was the first in September 2020 in a historic federal lawsuit to expose the existence of the actual infrastructure created by Twitter to allow government to silence speech of every American. The infrastructure still exists. Elon, will have your committee review all the evidence accepted and presented in federal court. Dr. Shiva must be one of the first to be put back on Twitter. Okay? Go down, John. So that was in 30th. So people knew I wasn't going to back out. And given Elon Musk was back, owned Twitter, he claimed he was for free speech. I said, well, God damn it, put me back on Twitter and get rid of this backdoor portal. So what happens next? Scroll on down. So what then happens is on October 31st, The Intercept, hold right there. No, go right there, John, please. Go up. Go up a little bit, right there. On October 31st, 2022, Omidyar, by the way, I say Omidyar's Intercept because The Intercept was founded and funded by Pierre Omidyar, who's the chairman of eBay and the founder who actually bought PayPal from Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. So Elon Musk's money comes right from Pierre Omidyar, who is the one who created the censorship infrastructure. John, there's a zoom in diagram. You know the one with Pierre Omidyar? Yeah, just zoom in on that. Can you just zoom in a little bit? And you can zoom back out. If you see, there's Pierre Omidyar. John, there's actually a line diagram where I have Pierre Omidyar pointing to that. You'll find it. Not
sure where it is.
Yeah. Just scroll down through here. Just search for Omidyar, John. Omidyar, yeah. So Omidyar, Omidyar. John, can you search for it?
I am searching for it.
Okay.
It's
right there, scroll down. Scroll down, John. Scroll down. Can you zoom out, please? This is way too big. Zoom out. No, none of the viewers can see this, John. Zoom out.
I have told it to zoom out.
Okay. I would just open up a new window, John, or go to one of the other ones. All right, just type in Omidyar. Omidyar.
Omidyar. Yes, that's what I've typed in.
Okay. Yeah, go down again. All right. Please go down to the next one.
I am telling it to go down to the next one.
Okay. Anyway, the bottom line is it's a huge diagram. You can't miss it. But Omidyar is the one who funded that entire censorship network, particularly the ability for government to route their messages and do an end run around the First Amendment. Okay. So, John, go back to where I was at. So that was on October 31st. The Intercept dropped a story, which was called DHS Leaks, which was plagiarized from my entire lawsuit. But the problem was they didn't share the entire network diagram. they only shared a little piece of it. So 2.5 years later, The Intercept, knowing that I was going to not let this go, shares a little piece of that story. And as it says, The Intercept DHS leaks is nothing new, but a blatant plagiarism of my work that has been on this website for over 2 years. And the aim of this effort was to intentionally conceal that Pierre Omidyar, the founder and the funder of The Intercept, is the same person who funded the government big tech censorship infrastructure, as we brought out in our lawsuit. So think about what I'm saying here. I had exposed all of this, the entire extent of that infrastructure. 2 years later, when I posted on Facebook to Musk that, hey, are you going to take down that backdoor portal? Boom, the next day, The Intercept drops their story. There you see Omidyar, who's the one who owns The Intercept and funded it. His same organization releases a story saying, oh my God, we have found the censorship infrastructure. Problem is, they leave out the fact Omidyar is the one who funded it. And as I looked at this, I'm wondering, like, what the hell's going on? Scroll down, John. This turns out, this is called a limited hangout. What is a limited hangout? It is a way to deceive people when they know a big version of that story is going to come out, which they knew I was going to bring it out again. So it's a CIA technique, as I've talked about, where the government, working with media companies, will release a small version of the story, which is, The Intercept is basically works for the government, guys. So they released a small version of the entire story. It's called the limited hangout. You hang out a story in a limited way, hoping that everyone would forget about it, okay? Now, the interesting thing is, John, you go down, scroll down, please. Scroll down, please, keep going. This was a cover-up, and you can go read about it in intelligence circles. It's known as an intelligence technique to cover up the big story. And I wrote about this, what is a limited hangout, okay? It's pretty dangerous. And Tucker Carlson and Glenn Greenwald and the ACLU were all part of this. These people are all part of the government deep state intelligence network, because they needed to hide my story, because I'm not neither left or right. I'm an independent fighter, an independent journalist, and the leader of an independent movement for truth, freedom, and health. Hold it right there, John, stop. They didn't want others to know about this. So they concealed my story for 2 years. And when they knew I was going to bring it out again, they put a limited version out of it. Tucker Carlson, Glenn Greenwald amplified it, who were the two people that concealed it 2 years before. And then they attempted to plagiarize it. And then when things got really tough, then 3 years later, then they start talking about it, AKA Twitter files. Scroll down, John. And again, to many of you, I educated all of you guys on it. Go down, John. And this is the limited hangout process, which, by the way, Robert Malone stole my diagrams, okay? Another scumbag. We'll come back to him at some point. A lot of scumbags and deceivers we have, guys, in the world. But you see, I told the whole truth about the entire censorship network. They then concealed it in 2020. Then they later plagiarized it, which is what The Intercept did on Twitter files. Then they misattributed it, never even cited my work, which is one of the grossest unethical violations in journalism. Then they lied and they tried to manipulate the full story. Then they hijacked it, gave a little bit of it, and then they amplified it. And that's what Tucker Carlson, as well as Glenn Greenwald and others did. Go down. So this is the limited hangout process, okay? And all this was done to protect Pierre Omidyar. So they concealed, plagiarized, misattributed, prevaricated, hijacked, and then they amplified the half-truth. Go down. So all of this I've discussed, and this is all old news to some of you, but I've been hammering away at this. And I reached out to Musk to share this with him. And you can see this right here. I said, Musk, why have you not put Dr. Shiva back on Twitter, right? Go on, John, and as I shared this with you. Keep going down. So go down. Now, stop right there. Now, go up, John. Go up, John. Start with that title. Now, the important thing that everyone needs to understand is we have a number of our Truth, Freedom, and Health warrior scholars on. In 2020, we didn't wait for mainstream media to cover my lawsuit. I must have done at least 2 videos a day, and we got the story out to thousands, hundreds, and frankly, millions of people, close to 200, 300 million people in the world, because We are independent of left and right. We did our own videos. And as John, you scroll down, you could see all the videos I did over the last 3 years on exposing the censorship infrastructure. And here's a list of all those videos that John's, there's a whole bunch of videos, John. There's a whole bunch of videos that we did right here. Okay, slow down. So these are all the videos that we did. Okay, so it didn't matter that Tucker Carlson or Elon Musk or any of these people didn't cover us. We got our story out. So think about what I'm saying. We did our job as a bottoms-up movement, as independent media, and hundreds of millions of people all over the world knew about my lawsuit, knew about the backdoor portal. We didn't care if Tucker Carlson didn't cover it. We still got it out. We gave him a chance to do it, but he didn't do it because Tucker Carlson, Glenn Greenwald, Elon Musk, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., all these people I'm exposing again are all part of the deep state infrastructure. All right, so there you go. Go down, John. So the point is, we exposed all of this through our own independent means. So now, when they knew I was going to come back again, they deplatformed people like me, calling me conspiracy theorist, and they let scumbags like Tucker Carlson and others remain. They never got thrown off. Tucker Carlson was never deplatformed. I was. Now, The Intercept intentionally buried my story to conceal their own funders' involvement in creating that infrastructure. Tucker Carlson knowing this, and by the way, Fox News, his boss, was also involved in creating this infrastructure. Again, all of this I exposed long before the plagiarists known as Twitter files and all the grifters who supported Twitter files. All right, let's go down. So all of this is up here. You can see that this wasn't just incompetence. This was intentional. They concealed my lawsuit, okay? And Tucker Carlson concealed it. Elon Musk concealed it. They were playing a game. Now, Pierre Omidyar is actually an asset of the government. Again, he created The Intercept, and he's involved in many, many imperialist censorship activities, as you can see in this diagram. Okay, there he is. He's the one who created the Center for, or supported and funded the Center for Internet Security to launder the censorship from government to Twitter, Elon Musk's Twitter, okay? And there you go. You can do an analysis. You can click on that. You can find out all the ways that Pierre Omidyar is involved in all sorts of deep state shenanigans, all right? All right, keep scrolling down, John. So all of this, I've been doing the independent journalism exposing this long before Tucker Carlson did anything, all right? Go down, John, keep going down. Scroll down a little bit faster. So these are the facts of what I exposed and the work I did. And that's why, go down, John, keep scrolling down, please. All right, so this will give you all those details about Omidyar's involvement. A little bit faster, John, thanks. Okay, go down. Let's go to Tucker Carlson. Go down. After ACLU didn't cover our lawsuit, and we exposed all that, although they covered the Intercepts thing 2 years later. And by the way, Pierre Omidyar funds the ACLU about $1 million a year. You say again, this is all a limited hangout. They didn't want to get our story out. When it mattered, they waited for 2 years. Now, let's talk about Tucker Carlson. I was kind to him. I called him Tucker at the time I wrote this. Now, Tucker Carlson intentionally concealed our lawsuit, and I'm going to show you the data. So all of you Tucker Carlson cult members, it's time for you to stop sucking him off and get off of him, okay? Just like I had to do the dirty work in Elon Musk, and now you guys are learning you should stop following him. Here in October 15th of 2020, I reported to Tucker, hey, October 20th. That actually should be October 20th, 2020, John. We need to change that. It's not, that should be 2020, okay? You can see the email on October 20th, 2020, nearly 3 years ago. I wrote to Tucker and I said, hey, look, I have discovered that the government has a backdoor portal on Twitter. I'm filing one of the most important lawsuits. Please cover this. Gave him the details. Go down on October 30th. After I won my first victory, I told him that we had found out that Twitter and government are hand in glove. And there it is. It's going to his email. I've spoken to him before. He did nothing. No response, nothing. Go down. And then on May 21st, when our lawsuit expanded and I had to take on 3 of Twitter's lawyers, go down, John. I sent him another email, as you can see here, and also attached to him the judge's ruling, where the judge said that this lawsuit will be one of the most important lawsuits of the century because it brings out this fundamental issue that a US Senate candidate was thrown off Twitter for exposing the government censorship infrastructure. Go down, John. So all of this Tucker Carlson knew. The evidence is in black and white, ladies and gentlemen. And there's everything, right? So Tucker Carlson can't say he didn't know. And by the way, 2 years later, when when the Intercept story comes out, Tucker Carlson acts as though he had never heard about this backdoor portal. How do I know that? Let's look at his transcript. He put this little dweeb called Lee Fang on, who was the guy who plagiarized my lawsuit. And look at what Tucker Carlson says. He goes, "This seems to be a really important story, which is for some reason being ignored." Okay? Yeah, you ignored the story, Tucker. What are you talking about? This is why I use curse words to call these people, and so should you. His name is Fucker Carlson because he fucked us. He fucked you. He fucked everyone in the United States because he could have covered this in 2020. All of this is here in black and white. Thanks, John. Now, let's go over to Elon Musk before I bring in our members. John, can you stop this, please? Go back to video, please. So video, John. So when you should tell Chris he should be ready to come on, John. So when I expose all this, I also, as a part of this, recognize that Elon Musk was a government frontman. And on late December of 2022, November of 2022, late November of 2022, I did a blistering expose blog post on Elon Musk. John, can you bring that up? And the blog post was called Elon Musk equals censorship equals surveillance. And here it is. And this went viral. It's called Elon Musk equals censorship and surveillance, a false god of free speech, leading you to slavery in an ever-expanding censorship and surveillance state across land, sea, air, and space in which Elon Musk is fully entrenched and economically dependent on his power, profit, control. John, can you just put the link on this in the comments so everyone can get this? Okay. So, again, everyone, I'm speaking from Italy. It's close to 2 a.m. here, so I'm a little bit tired. But I thought it was important to do this live. But I put this out in November 2022, and this started going viral, and I still wasn't on Twitter. Suddenly, I get put back on Twitter on December 20th of 2020. John, keep it there. John, don't scroll up. John, keep it where it was. Keep it where it was, please. Keep it right there. Yeah. So I want you guys to all read this because I did this in November of 2022. Now I've exposed Tucker, I've exposed the censorship infrastructure, and I realize that Elon Musk ain't going to do anything, that he's a complete false god. When I put this up and I started hammering Musk, every moron, cat fucking turd, piece of shit turd, Dan Bongino, another doofus, Jack fucking Posobiec, another grifter, and go down the list. All of these so-called conservatives, Dinesh Bubuza, okay, Bozo, all these people were praising and sucking Musk off as though he was their god. And here I was a lone voice exposing the facts in bare view. And this was a central piece of this. And when you read this article, it exposes in detail Elon Musk owns SpaceX. I talked about Elon Musk being a part of the climate change scam, making money off Tesla. Bottom line is Elon Musk and government are one. And government represents World Economic Forum. It represents big tech. It represents all those people. And when I put this out there, all of these people poo-pooed me, attacked me viciously. No different than the way that the liberals attacked me when I exposed the pandemic bullshit and ran the Fire Fauci campaign in 2020. Again, when doofus Bobby Kennedy wasn't there. I'm able to see and predict the future because I've put in my time as a system scientist, understanding the science of systems. And when you do that, you can see things in bare view. But when I put this out, I took a lot of heat. And I'm going to bring Chris Bradley in right now And Chris is going to share with us those people who attacked me and were sucking off Elon Musk. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so I mean,
Okay, John, can you take this away? Just have me and Chris.
Right.
Take this away. Just bring me and Chris on, okay? Or go ahead, Chris.
yeah, so Dr.SHIVA and the Truth Freedom Health Movement has been tirelessly working to expose these assholes, these Johnny-come-latelys. And at the top of the list, you have Tucker Carlson, you have characters like RFK Jr., Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson.
Chris, when you say the top of the list, just be clear, these people are all supporting, tweeting how much they loved Elon Musk, what a great guy he was. Well, I was in there in the trenches exposing him. Just let's make that point clear.
Yeah, I mean, here they are on their public platforms where they are not shadow banned, reaching their huge audiences, saying, "Oh, this is such a great thing for free speech," and now you can already see the tides turning. People like Tim Pool posting about the decision to make a World Economic Chair the CEO of Twitter. All of these people, in the end, they grift on the story up front, and then in the end, they turn on their audience and say, "Oh, who could have seen it coming?" But Dr.SHIVA and the Truth Freedom Health Movement has seen it coming since day one. And so that's what we're trying to let everybody know is like,
well, Chris, one of the important points is Tim Pool never covered us when we were calling this out. And another fuckface by the name of Patrick Bet-David, who I just want to remind you, this guy's a pay-to-play motherfucker, okay? 2-3 years ago, I suddenly remembered who this guy was. When the pandemic was going on, I was the first one to call lockdowns. I was going viral everywhere. And this fool wanted me to come down and be on a show. He promised to get us a certain type of airfare for our tickets, which we needed. We get to the airport, he hadn't gotten that airfare. He's a scumbag, bait and switch motherfucker. So me and my assistant Richard left. And then he thought that I wanted to be so much on a show like other grifters that I'd do anything. I didn't. Recently, if I remember right, Chris, he was doing another show and you had to pay him close to $1,000 to even mention my name in a YouTube super chat. And then he mentions my name and he has the gall, this scumbag, and I think he's an intelligence asset, Patrick Bet-David, had the audacity to say that, "Oh, I'm a smart guy, but I'm arrogant and I should behave more like a Brahmin, Vivek, who's a fucking idiot, top down, spoon-fed motherfucker, that he wants me not to be me, but I should talk diplomatically like this Yale graduate called Vivek." You see, that's the epitome of racism, because what it says is that I'm not being a good Indian. Why don't you talk like this good Indian? I'm not going to talk like a good Indian. I'm a brilliant guy who grew up in the streets of Bombay, as Richard said, and the streets of New Jersey. I will call you a fucker to your face, Patrick Bet-David. And that's what you guys are. Tim Pool, Patrick Bet-David, Joe Rogan, all of you guys who will probably do whatever Elon Musk tells you, did not cover me and still won't. Because you know why? Maybe it's because I'm brown skinned. Maybe it's because I'm not in your left or right little clubs. Chris, I think you should read out all those people's names who are sucking off Elon Musk. Read them out loud and enunciate their names, Chris.
yeah, where were you, Tucker Carlson, when Dr.SHIVA broke the news about the Twitter partnership partner support portal? RFK, Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, where were you when we are breaking the news and letting everybody know that this portal exists? And we could keep going. Dan Bongino, Charlie Kirk, Glenn Beck, Jack Posobiec, a CIA asset. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Tim Cass, who has people like Jack, and these people they're all guests on each other's shows. They're all in the same club. These are not so obvious establishment characters meant to bring us back to the establishment. It's these people are the new media. They are distracting you from actually getting together with your community and building a movement, and stop looking for gods on high to come save you. These people aren't here to save you. They're here to distract you from doing something about the problems that we face in this country and the world abroad. So the list goes on.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I think the most important thing, John, can you just go? I think the most important thing, thanks, Chris, is to remember that we called all this out 2 years ago, and all of these people who are government frontmen, and that's what they are, hid our news intentionally for two reasons. One, they don't want to amplify our independent movement. And two, they're part of the government infrastructure. Do not follow any of these people anymore. If you do, after the long track record that I've shown of predicting the future and calling out these scumbags, you're a fool. And if you want to do that, ultimately what you're doing is you're committing suicide. So I can't overemphasize, in many ways, the victory for us. Again, we always continue exposing stuff, our movement and the work I do. And now you have an opportunity to see in bare view that we called out Elon Musk. He's screwed you. He's appointed a woman to be CEO of Twitter who's pro-vaccine mandates, pro-mask mandates, is completely interconnected with the Hollywood British entertainment royalty. And all they care is the head of the ad council of the United States. I mean, the list goes on, of the World Economic Forum. And this is who Musk brought in. He's basically screwing you up every way you can imagine. And the grifters are the real assholes. Because A, they did not cover us, called me all sorts of names, and they have the audacity now to try to backpedal. Cat Turd, again, as I said, he's a piece of shit. Why does he get so many views? My views have gone down from 500,000 views per day down to 5,000 views per day. That's shadow banning, and Musk knows what he's doing, and he's a scumbag. Let me also take this point. Let me bring in Maria and Kristen, if they're there, John. Kristen and Maria know, is Maria there? Kristen?
Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah. So it's very important. Kristen, can you sort of look into there's your hands there, Kristen? So let me just make a couple things clear. Kristen and Maria know that more than anyone, because you guys have been in the trenches on social media on this, the amount of abuse that I took when I exposed Fauci and when I exposed Elon Musk, because you guys were out there having to defend the positions. Kristen, do you want to start with that, and then we go to Maria?
Sure. So, I mean, this goes back, way back, even to when you originally started with Win Back Freedom back in 2020. But, you know, when you first called out Elon Musk, the vitriol, it was just unbelievable. And then, I mean, we got it secondhand too, in the comments, and when, you know, giving people the truth in the comment sections, especially on Twitter, they would just, you know, deflect it off to us as well. I stated recently myself that, you know, the movement for truth, freedom, and health, one of the biggest things that I've learned is how important it is to say the right thing at the right time. And that is something that Dr.SHIVA has always done. That's a big reason why I support him and continue with the movement for truth, freedom, and health. And it's taught me to continue to try to do the same thing. So if somebody is not saying the right thing at the right time, and they wait until later after the damage is done, until it's popular or convenient, at best, they're just stupid or ignorant. And at worst, they're part of the problem. They're part of the establishment, or the not so obvious establishment. So I absolutely, you know, when you see the rage from the so-called, for example, conservatives, such as the list of some of the people that Chris Bradley read out, to me, that's a huge red flag. Why? These people definitely know that Elon Musk is not the savior that they're trying to make him out to be. And then, of course, now Dr.SHIVA has been vindicated. And if you still don't see that, then you need to go back to class and learn some more. I think that's really all I can say at the moment, but the delayed truth is deadly, and it's very important to say the right thing at the right time, bottom line, and no compromising on that.
Maria, can you share a little bit of sort of, when you were out on social media and we were exposing Elon Musk, all the nonsense that we saw for telling the truth at the right time? Go ahead, Maria.
Yes. And just to piggyback on Kristen, yeah, Dr. Shiva has always said the right thing at the right time. And these people just, yeah, they're vicious. They're vicious, and they act like, Dr. Shiva is the enemy. So it's really important. I mean, we've had to just really get in there. And even though a lot of these people were probably plants and they're just all part of it, but to try to educate them and show them, look, this is really what's happening, and you're being completely deceived and manipulated. And if you don't see that, yeah, you are really stupid, or you are part of the problem. But we are here, and we're staying here. So we're not going to just walk away and say, oh yeah, this is how it goes, you guys have the power. No, it doesn't. It's not that way. Dr. Shiva has always called them out. And so we're here just to continue, with our independent bottoms up. And we're going to continue to put the truth out there. And we're going to just keep slamming them and stand strong. And
yeah, I think the biggest thing, Maria and Kristen, is that if you go look at the track record, March 30th of 2020, we called out the lockdowns. Robert Kennedy was promoting lockdowns. Go look at it. He was saying lockdowns were good because they save the climate. Complete idiot. Guy's a moron. In March of 2020, we wrote to Trump and we said, don't do these lockdowns. We gave him a protocol. Trump did the lockdown. Another fool. In March of 2020, it was our movement that exposed the entire election system's integrity issues. I drove down for over a day and a half in our bus down to Washington and ran the Fire Fauci campaign, 120,000 signatures. Robert Kennedy was nowhere to be found. So all of you listening now, if you understand that I was right on Elon Musk, I'm damn right on Fucker Carlson and Booby Kennedy Jr. So if you want to be screwed in you-know-what again, go support those fools. If you want to be a cult leader supporting Booby effing Kennedy and Fucker Carlson, you're basically opening up the doorways to hell for yourself, because that's where these devils will lead you. They're devils. Be it Booby F. Kennedy Jr., Booby effing Kennedy, that's his actual name, Fucker Carlson, Elon Musk, and all the grifters that Chris, if you can bring Chris back in, surrounding them, all these people are part of the government censorship infrastructure. What has happened now on social media is worse in some ways than it was with Jack Dorsey and Vijay Gadde. At least then you knew the enemy. These people are doing a new type of censorship, putting guys like me back on. So when I exposed Musk, he put me back on. And he thought that I would be loyal to him and zip up my mouth. The first day I got back on, you remember, Kristen and Maria, I said, hey, Elon, I'll be your CEO. That got like 20 million views. And then I started hammering him on, are you going to take down the backdoor portal? And you can see I have all the data. My views went more and more down from 500,000 to like 10,000 views a day. So he put me in a cage. It's like, it's like you're making me a slave, a digital slave on Twitter. So these people are evil. Again, I repeat, here's my prediction. Fucker Carlson is a fucker. Booby F. Kennedy Jr. is a front man for the government. Go look at all of his contradictions. The problem is we don't have men anymore. I feel like me and our Truth, Freedom, Health warriors and the women are the real fighters. There's very few men out there. All these grifters out there, either they don't have any testosterone, either they're eating a lot of estrogen, or something's going on because they do not tell the truth when it's important to tell it at the right time. And they will never cover us or me. Either they're racist or they're afraid that I'll steal all their views because people hear the truth. But their days are numbered because people are starting to recognize they are the neo-establishment now. They're creating a new quote unquote media to replace the old dead media, but they're still the same. New bottle, old wine. Okay? New bottle, old wine. Same people. So I really want to emphasize to everyone that we're at a historic point, is because the reason, let's bring Chris back and John back, the reason I am able to see the future with such, I'm at 100 out of 100. Sorry to be, it's not being boastful. I was brought up, unfortunately, as a young kid, always to be humble. I've learned in the last 10 years, you can't be humble if you're telling the truth. Our movement's predictions are 100 out of 100, 100%. And we will be 100% on Fucker Carlson, 100% on Booby F. Kennedy. As many of you know, I'm running for president. I've already, Trump is just an entertainer. Come on, the guy's an idiot. He can go bang people. He can go, quote unquote, rape people. The Kennedys can go kill people. And these people get away. Is this the kind of people you want as true Americans? Or do you want someone like me and people in our movement who are everyday working people? This is a really come to Jesus point. Do you want to be abused? Do you want to really be Americans who were given the First and Second Amendment? Or do you want to be freaking morons? That's what this question is. And if you want to learn the ability to see the future and have the courage to call out people, then you got to support Shiva for president. And if you want to learn how to do this, go to truthfreedomhealth.com. I teach you how to do this. It's called the Science of Systems. John, do you want to say a few words before we sign off?
Yeah, basically, if you for the several hundred of you that have been watching this live and the other many people that are going to watch this afterwards, number one thing you need to do is you need to stop sitting on the sidelines anymore. If you were lucky enough to break through the shadow banning and be some of the few that actually see this video, first of all, help us fight those algorithms by sharing this video with others. Secondly, stop sitting on the sidelines and actually get involved in the movement. Become a leader in your city or town. Join the movement for truth, freedom, and health. We'll give you the infrastructure and the training to help get you set up and interconnect you with people. But you need to start getting active and getting on the ground and start to organize people against this stuff. It's not enough to just sit here consuming the information that we're giving you. You need to act on it next. Yeah, and Chris Bradley is there holding up his Truth, Freedom, Health sign that he goes and shows people in his community. So yeah, everybody, yeah, and there's Maria with hers. So yeah, everybody on this call right now is also an activist and a leader in their own local communities, helping to organize other people against this nonsense. So that's what we're doing with this campaign for Dr. Shiva for president. The campaign is a vehicle to build a movement, and that's what we've always been about.
Yeah, and the movement, for an outsider like me to win, given all these scumbags, the only way I could ever win as president is with a movement. And the movement for truth, freedom, and health is here. You have no freaking excuses anymore to follow these morons. Remember what I shared. The life expectancy in the United States is going down. If you have kids, your kids are going to live less than you. Think about what I'm saying. And this is brought to you not by the Republicans or not by the Democrats, but by both of their policies for the last 60 to 80 years, starting with the Kennedys, then going to the Reagans, and then the Carters, the Reagans, the Trumps, the Bidens, all of them. They don't give a damn about you. I care, and our movement cares about working people. You know why? Because we're one of you. Robert Kennedy ain't one of you, guys. Wake up. Wake up. Booby ain't one of you. He's a $1 billion trust fund kid. He can spit in policeman's face, which he did, and nothing happens to him. Ted Kennedy can murder people. Nothing happens to him. Okay? John F. Kennedy, read Seymour Hersh's book, was a complete dick. Reckless fool. He's the one who started the Vietnam War, but they create this huge mythos around the Kennedys. The Kennedys are mafia scumbags. Let go of the brainwashing. I'm sorry, Donald Trump, who has got his gold-plated toilet seat, is a dick. Complete prick. Is that who you want to follow? Or do you want to vote and have a real president like me, backed by a movement of amazing people like Chris Bradley, Maria Canistra, Kristen, and John, and 400,000 other people? It is your choice. If you want to dig your grave, keep following these fools. If you want your children to live longer, vote for Shiva for president. If you want to become empowered, go to truthfreedomhealth.com and learn the science of systems. Otherwise, you're going to get fooled. And mark my words, as Chris just said, all of these little grifter fools are now backpedaling when we've had the information out there. Do not follow Jack Posobiec. Do not follow Tucker Carlson. Fucker Carlson. You go down the list. Chris, do you want to give them the list once again? Who are the people everyone should stop following right now?
Tucker Carlson, RFK Jr., Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, Dan Bongino, Charlie Kirk, TPUSA, Glenn Beck, Jack Posobiec, Tim Cass, Ted Cruz, Patrick Bet-David, Eon Miles Chong, Cat Turd. All these people, they're all bullshit artists. Wake up.
Yeah, and the important thing is a number of people now realizing the reason I curse at these people is because I hate them. And you should too. And if you're a Christian, remember Christ took that whip and whipped the shit out of those people. So don't talk to me about cursing. Oh, you shouldn't curse. I say, fuck you. Okay, that's my answer to you. Shut the fuck up and learn how to curse. Because these people are dangerous. Elon Musk just fucked all of you who are following him. And I predicted he was going to fuck you. Robert Kennedy will fuck you. He already screwed you. He says he's against vaccine mandates. In his own house, he mandated people had to get the COVID vaccine. Wake the fuck up. Ching ching, wake up. That's why our movement's here. And when you wake up, you don't have to get depressed and you don't have to say, what am I going to do? No, our movement is here. We have the infrastructure. We have the community. We will teach you how to win because we win. We are winning. We just won today. We won many, many people's respect. People are like, wow, Dr. Shiva's right again. Oh, he was right again about Fauci. Oops, he was right again about Trump. He was right again about the pandemic. He was right again about election integrity. Maybe I should actually listen to him versus being a dope and listening to some idiot named Cat Turd. Wake the fuck up, guys. That's a message. WTFU. Write that right here in your third eye when you go to bed tonight and say, I need to wake the fuck up. I need to go to truthfreedomhealth.com. I need to support Dr. Shiva for president. That's it. And if you want to support fucker Carlson anymore, you're a moron. If you want to support Booby Kennedy Jr., you're part of a fucking Kennedy cult. And if you need cult training to get you out, please contact us and we will help you. Come to our open house. We have help here. We know how to help you. Like AA, AAA does. What is it, AA? We have that equivalent here to get you out of, because you're an abuse victim. You're literally a codependent abuse victim if you're following Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and you're following, get educated or be enslaved. Go ahead, John. Did you want to say something?
No, that was
okay.
Yeah, you guys already said it. Come to the open house. Come to the orientation. Someone here was just saying, "I wish you were running in Canada. We need someone like you up here." Well, to that person, I'd say, we have a lot of people up in Canada. We have a growing movement up there. In fact, we're in 95 countries all over the world. So just because we're running in the U.S. doesn't mean you can't start building the movement right where you are.
Or you can even, many of you can make phone calls. You can help us with the movement here. So John, put up the orientation. It's vashiva.com/orientation.
Yep.
Come there. Here's the next action steps. We're going to give you a variety. Go to Shiva for President, support that. You can go to vashiva.com/orientation, come to our open house. Okay, you'll learn more. Number 3, go to truthfreedomhealth.com and we will help you if you are finally recognizing that you've been screwed over. We are here to help you. We will help you get over your abuse. And if you want to stay with these people, know that you are an abuse victim. You're like a person in a relationship who's with a drunk who beats the shit out of you every day and you keep going back to him. That's who the Kennedys are. That's who Tucker Carlson is. That's who Elon Musk is. And if you want to be abused over and over and over again and want to be a dumb shit, then go follow them. But if you care about yourself and your family and your children and you want to live long, vote Shiva for president. Period. All right, everyone. Chris, thank you very much. Kristen, thank you. Maria, do you guys have any other closing words you want to say before we close out? Nope.
No.
I would just want to encourage people to, like Dr. Shiva and John said, come to the open house on Thursdays. That's the best start. We have an entire educational platform It's not just Dr. Shiva telling you what to think or predicting these things. He will actually teach you the methodology, the system science, how to actually think. And then on top of that, he's training us and others to also become teachers. So we are like self-organizing system. So we're like replicating everywhere. It's amazing. We're like the good kind of virus. So you should join us.
That's why they want to make us invisible. That's why these morons,
Exactly.
as Chris read out, will not cover us, because they know that once people come to us are getting the real truth and their days are over. Like, no one will want to follow them. The reason Patrick bet David that doofus has to be paid. Chris, you paid him like $500, right? And then he mentioned my name. So that's the kind of
super
fool
chats.
that guy is. What's that, John?
The very last thing I want to mention, if I may, is about humility. When people want to say things like Dr. Shiva is arrogant or anybody is arrogant, I have to say this. I don't think they understand the definition of humility. Humility is not just being humble, like Dr. Shiva, sometimes you talk about being a good little Indian or whatever. Being humble also means embracing your success and your strengths and standing up for those things like you do for the invention of email. So when I hear that kind of crap, it's such a cop-out, and I think people need to start seeing through that as well. Just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, being humble doesn't mean you don't let other people falsely claim to do the work that you did. Like that's just dishonest.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, these people's days are numbered. Go ahead, Maria.
Just one thing. Yeah, the people here, Dr. Shiva and all the people in Truth, Freedom, Health, have courage. So the thing is, if you just, we all have a backbone. So you just need to use it and recognize that you don't want to outsource your power. Your power is within you, and you don't need someone telling you, dictating to you how to live, how to take care of yourself. It's you take responsibility. You first start with your health, and then you go from there. So it's very empowering, but it's at the same time it is humbling, but you have the courage to stand up, because when you know how to take care of yourself, you see through all of that bullshit people try to shove down your throat, and you just don't even, you're not going to stand for it. So if you do have any dignity for yourself, and like Dr. Shiva says, you care about yourself and your family, yeah, I hope that you join us, because we're growing and we're going to keep growing with Dr. Shiva and Truth, Freedom, and Health.
All right, everyone. I think we made the point. Again, we told you so. Elon Musk is a scumbag, period. And also, FYI, Tucker Carlson's a scumbag, and Booby F. Kennedy Jr. is a scumbag. All of you who are part of this cult movement of theirs, we're here to help you. We have an entire abuse victim program. When you join us, we will walk you through the process of getting over and the withdrawals that you'll have as you let go of all these fuckers, okay? And also, as Chris pointed out, all those other grifters, when you go and abuse the hell out of them, okay, expose them, because they deserve your meanest curse words as you can. As they're backpedaling, do not let them get away. All these people were supporting fucking eel, slippery Elon Musk. That's why I call him EEELON, Elon Musk. Okay, he's an eel. All right, and he just made and I gave him the chance to be the CEO. I said, look, I'll be your CEO. He could have had a great true free speech activist, but he doesn't want that. He brought in the worst freaking devil you can, because he's a devil. Mm-hmm. So it's time for you guys to decide if you really want to be a Christian, then support our movement, because we're really Christians. If you really want to truly be someone who fights for workers and truly want to be a Marxist, truly support the proletarian, come to our movement, because we're real fighters for workers and we're truly Christians. And we will expose the left from the left and we'll expose the right from the right. Jack Posobiec should just go back to his mama's basement. Dan Bongino should just go run away somewhere, because all he wants to do is make money. And I can't believe Melania still stays with Trump, okay? Like, these people are fucking crazy. The guy goes and pays off whores and this, and the conservatives still, he's still the conservatives leader, John. Can you believe this? I mean, unbelievable, the contradictions here, okay?
Yep.
Unbelievable. You're a Christian and you support Donald Trump? Are you freaking serious? Okay? How many times are you going to do that? You're all abuse victims if you support these people, but we're here to help. Service is citizenship, and we're here for you. Thank you, John. Thank you, Kristen. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Chris. Be well.
Yeah.
You guys stay here when John's...